Hello and welcome to Voices of Victory podcast. I am your host, Mario D. Leone. And today we're going to talk about confidence for actors. And you know what? I wore my Hood acting school, or excuse me, Hood School of Acting. I wore that shirt and I want to share this with you. I am no longer an actor. I am no longer in the industry. However, I do work with people in order to help them with their confidence, help them with their self-esteem, help them with their body language. It's all about the psychology of confidence. And I'm going to break it down to you right here, right now, today on this show. Guess what we are going to talk about? We are going to talk about micro actions for actors. Okay, micro actions for actors. First of all, what's a micro action? Well, come on, let's think about it here, right? Micro meaning small, and of course, actions that you actually take. The very first one is indeed, you probably have heard of it before. It's called the power pose. Matter of fact, if you go back into the 80s and you see Wonder Woman, you always saw her with the wonderful fists on the hip, chin up, head straight, and it was just a confident pose. Now, the beauty of it is when you step into that pose and you practice that pose, what you're supposed to do is not just do the pose, it's to actually visualize, close your eyes and visualize for a moment and bring that feeling of confidence up. If there was a moment of confidence that was in your life, it could have been on graduation day, it could have been when you actually scored some points in bowling, whatever the case may be, you're going to bring up power pose, close your eyes and bring up that memory. And what you want to do is link the body language to the actual emotional feeling. That's first one. The second one is daily affirmations. There's people that hate these, they call them cliche. I'm going to tell you, we're going to lean towards self-talk. That's what we're going to do. First off, the self-talk phrases that begin with I, throw them away. You can use them when you want to install beliefs late at night or beginning in the morning. That's fine. You could do that. But in terms of second person self-talk language, it is better for you to use statements that begin with you, Y-O-U. You're going to do fine. You're confident. You can make this happen. You are in the process of working on your acting skill. You are amazing. You are smart. You are intelligent. You need to give yourself more credit. This actually has the soccer game effect because when you use the statements that begin with I, that means you're in the game. Where if you use statements that begin with you, Y-O-U, that creates emotional distance between fears and the experience. So when you use statements that begin with Y-O-U, you are becoming the coach on the sideline. Where if you use statements that begin with the letter I, you are in the game. There's more emotional attachment. It's attached to your identity even more. However, when you get emotional resistance and you don't like, I don't know if I want to get off the couch today, it's going to be the you statements to get your ass off that couch and onto the treadmill. So guess what? We're going to move on to the next one. Mirror work. Yes, mirror work. Something you could actually do is put some post-it notes on your mirror. I'm in the process of my craft, whatever the case may be. In the process of is the present tense, not future, not past, right here, right now, this moment. With mirror work, you're going to look into that mirror, get excited when you actually do that. Practice one line of dialogue in the mirror and avoid over judging. Avoid self-judgment. You need to have compassion. It's all about honing and working on your. Now, in terms of breathing, you need to take what I call full lung capacity breath. Whenever you're feeling those jitters before you go out on stage, before you, let's say, go out into a scene, full lung capacity breath. End of story. Through the nose, out the mouth. And if you could exhale slower than you inhale, you're in a good place. The next one is eye contact practice. Okay. Practice with people, holding gazes with them a little bit. You know, as long as you're not holding a gaze where it's a threat, that can happen. Literally, two men could look at each other, or two women who are really angry and hate each other, and they give each other that eye contact, and it could actually bring up like the anger and the aggression and all that. If you're doing it for an acting part, great, awesome. If you're doing it for real life and you're actually threatening somebody, avoid that at all costs, please. you don't want to go behind. Engage in brief conversations and maintain steady eye contact. If you take a look at the movie The Rock with Sean Connery, he was phenomenal. He had the 1 minute steady gaze. When all the men were moving through the doorway, Nicolas Cage was the last one to walk through, and Sean Connery made that gaze and slowly kept it. And it was a gaze of confidence as Nicolas Cage walked through the door. And you know what? That was priceless. Absolutely priceless. Another thing is rehearse alone, rehearse with people, but also rehearse alone. Dedicate the time. This is a craft. You can't just one-off practice here and one-off practice there. This is a craft. You've got to beat down your craft like you are the school bully. All right. What do I mean by that? Is that violent? It's aggressive. And I'd say you want to be aggressive with your craft. If you're going to be an actor, go for it. Go all the way, 100%, no holding back. And that means 5 minutes a day, or maybe practicing some monologue in solitude for actual focus. Don't be afraid to record yourself on audio. Don't be afraid to record yourself on video. Don't be afraid to actually look at your body language. What's your body language? Is your body language expansive or is your body language kind of contracted? Is it all, right? Consider where you are. Like, if you're reading a scene, where you are is going to dictate a lot of things. How loud you should speak, whether or not you should whisper. Maybe it's a scene where you're actually whispering over to somebody. Whatever the case may be, it's all good. Just rehearse alone for 5 minutes a day and run those lines. There are applications for iOS and Google that allow you to record your lines and play them back. Okay, one of the things that I did was record the opposing dialogue. So whoever was opposite of me, I would read all of their dialogue and leave pauses. And that pause could be a 10-second pause where I can practice my dialogue. If you're able to practice with the actual actor, go ahead. It's better. But if you have nothing and you want to catch a little extra, then go ahead and record yourself on audio. Record the opposing characters on audio. Leave a gap of silence so you can repeat back. Think of it as you're responding to yourself with your own lines. Now, let's go over to celebrate your small wins. Acknowledge, okay, you got your first stage gig and it's complete. Celebrate that. Pat yourself on the back. You're moving forward. The worst thing you could do is compare yourself to the rest of the world. When you start to compare yourself, it is a clap. You will straight up have to unfuck your brain afterwards, because the more you compare yourself to other people, it's going to be a major issue. You never want to attach what you do to your self-esteem. This is your craft. This is a skill. You're supposed to get better at that skill. Avoid attaching it to your self-esteem. I know it says easier said than done. Well, that's why you have to challenge yourself and prepare. Preparation is absolutely huge. So you have to be able to have some micro challenges. In order to get good, you've got to challenge yourself in small ways. Take small risks. Maybe trying a new vocal tone, a new physical movement in rehearsal, perhaps even a different part. If you're one of those people like that play a lot of different parts, well, that's great. You can be diverse. But if you take a look at a lot of actors, they do want to work. Like you take someone like Danny Trejo. He wants to work. I like it. I like his style. I like the way he acts. Yes, he's played some very hardcore parts. And some people might say, well, that's all he plays. But the guy's working. You got to understand that. Like at the end of the day, actors, we want to work. We want to be out there. At the same time, be on your craft every single day. And again, it's not to say you can't be diverse, but if you do happen to fall into a genre, big deal. You could always branch out here and branch out there. Not a big deal at all. Vocal warm-ups. Spend 3 or 4 minutes just humming, doing a little humming. Practice a tongue twister. Alliteration. You want to see a classic example of alliteration in a movie? Go type in YouTube, alliteration, V for vendetta. I'll see if I can put a link at the end of this show so you can actually catch that. All right, I'll do my best to make sure that happens. Alliteration, as a public speaker, I have a background in public speaking, as you can see. Alliteration, it's very tongue twister like, but you could literally master dialogue through alliteration. Positive visualization, closing your eyes, picturing yourself delivering a stellar performance for a few minutes before you step into the role. That's so important just to visualize. Now, I do want to share with you, if you do have the massive jitters, okay, the best thing you can do is move your eyes in a circle 10 times clockwise. Inhale, full circle again, 10 times clockwise. This will literally activate the prefrontal cortex of your brain. It will chill you out. You will calm down. If you do this 10 times, and it will calm you down. And if you need more, do more. Go 15, go 20, whatever the case may be. You have to remember, the more you prepare and you come to a place of confidence, meaning like, okay, I am confident to execute this. You're not overthinking. You're not thinking about the future. You're not thinking about the past. You are in the scene. You are in the process of doing the work. That's so important. Stretch your comfort zone. That's the next one. Try some exaggerated acting choices during practice to expand your creativity. That's what I mean by it's okay to break out of those roles, break out of those genres. Not a big deal. At the end of the day, the next one is appreciation journaling. I don't like to use gratitude. Gratitude is an overused word. It's so overused. It's not even funny. Appreciation. Have appreciation for where you are and what's going on. So do some journaling. Write down a couple things you're actually proud of in your acting journey. Okay? So important. So important. Improvise. Get out there, improvise. Take 1 minute to improv a reaction, improv a dialogue to strengthen adaptability. Actors are like chameleons, and you got to shapeshift. You got to work that magic. Another thing also is reconnect with your passion. Rewatch your famous actor, your famous actor. Say that 3 times with peanut butter. Famous favorite actor or performance or scene that inspired you to actually act. It's so important for you to stay focused in the process. So many people are so concerned, how do I look? How do I look? How do I look? How do I look? Right? They're in the future about what everybody else thinks, but you have to be in the process and working on your craft and build that confidence internally. You cannot get confidence externally. Do not get it twisted. If you're one of those people that say you can get confidence external, I got news for you. Full of shit. That's all I'm going to say about that. Have a nice day on that one. Feedback. Focus on constructive feedback, functional feedback, repeating one key point of the feedback to improve, working on what you need to. Ignore overcriticalness, okay? Perfectionism is literally a clusterfuck. You're trying to be perfect. It's about working the craft over and over and over again. It's about getting good. It is about mastery. Mastery, I tell you. That's what it's about. Another thing you could do is anchor a gesture. Anchor gesture. So we talked about the pose and bringing up the emotions. Well, you could also anchor a small gesture. For example, clenching your fist together or maybe holding your thumb and index finger. In yoga, they call this a mudra in yoga. But you can bring up an emotion that's associated with this particular. And every time you do this, the more you do this with a particular emotion, the more you're able to recall that state of mind. Simple as that. And if you don't believe me, do it 100 times, call me. And if you didn't believe me after that, laugh now and figure that shit out when you get home. But anyway, here we go. Role research. That's another thing too. Know your character and do research on the role. Research, but don't dive into the rabbit hole. Once you start going out on the internet, start overthinking this, overthinking that, you fall into that trap. Before you know it, you forgot where you started off, right? You wind up on Amazon when you're trying to actually research a role. Stay focused, Daniel-san. That's what I'm trying to say. It's kind of like, I think it was Liam Neeson say, I want you focused, right? Before he electrified the guy to that grid. And the last but not least, smile practice. Smile practice, literally practice your smiles in reverse, right? Smile for 30 seconds. Feel good. Bring up those emotions. Manage your emotions. If you feel extremely overwhelmed, do the eye rolls clockwise, inhale, exhale, counterclockwise. It will emotionally reset you. Why? Because I teach that to paramedics and I also teach that to people with overthinking. And you know what? It works. It works because it's bilateral stimulation. Bi meaning two, lateral meaning sides, and that means helping you process both sides of the brain. That's all for today. Take care. Have a great day. And if you know an actor that could really use this, send this to them. This is not an acting channel. This is a self-esteem confidence channel. But having a background, it's great. Now, I'm no miraculous actor because I actually left the field, but that doesn't constitute I can't help people that generally need that wonderful set of tools to get them through. Have a great day. See you in the next episode.